So today we will be studying about the main bodies given in our syllabus, and I have classified those bodies into three classifications. First one is the constitutional bodies, second one is the statutory body, and third one is extra constitutional body or non-statutory body or non-constitutional body. Clear? So we will be covering all these bodies in our lectures. First we will start with the constitutional body. First, see what is constitutional body. Constitutional body means those bodies about which there is detailed provision in the constitution. Detailed provision in the constitution. Those bodies about which there is detailed provision in the constitution. Clear? Those bodies are called as constitutional bodies. For example, see, for example, I have told you about Attorney General of India. Attorney General of India is under which article? Attorney General of India is under Attorney General of India. Attorney General of India is given in Article 76. Also, I have told about the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Comptroller and Auditor General of India is in Article 148. Clear? Finance Commission. Finance Commission under Article 280. भूल गए सारे आर्टिकल्स? हाँ? Keep on revising, otherwise you won't be able to recall. I am telling you this again and again. Then, Election Commission of India, Article 324. UPSC, Union Public Service Commission, Article 315. Write down these articles again and do learn these articles. So these are the constitutional bodies. Also GST Council, Article 279A. Clear? Interstate Council, Interstate Council, Article 263. In state pieces, they will directly ask you the articles in the exam. So learn these articles. And in mains, you'll have to write in detail about the composition of these bodies, about the appointment in these bodies, function of these bodies, what are the various limitations associated with these bodies. We will be discussing all these in these lectures. Clear? But before that, at least learn the articles, because these articles will give you a good point to start your introduction. For example, if any question is there regarding the Finance Commission, so you can directly write that under Article 280 of the Indian Constitution, there is a provision for the Finance Commission, which is appointed by the President within 5 years or earlier, whenever President required. So that will be a good introduction, no? And in prelims, in state pieces, they will directly ask questions, and they will give you 4 bodies there and 4 articles there, and they will ask you to match these bodies correctly. Or maybe sometime they will ask you which one of the following is not correctly matched. So this type of question has been asked in state PCS. Clear? Now come to the statutory bodies. What do you mean by statutory bodies? Means bodies created by act of parliament or state legislature. Bodies created by act of parliament or state legislature. Clear? For example, National Human Rights Commission. Clear? State Human Rights Commission. Central Information Commission. State Information Commission. Central Vigilance Commission. National Human Rights Commission, State Human Rights Commission, Central Information Commission, State Information Commission, and Central Vigilance Commission. These bodies are created either by the Act of Parliament or by the Act of State Legislature. For example, SHRC, State Human Rights Commission, created by State Legislature. Clear? Now come to the extra constitutional and non-statutory body. Extra constitutional bodies, non-statutory bodies, are non-constitutional bodies. Means those bodies which are created by executive resolution. Created by executive resolution. Clear? Means those bodies which are neither given in the constitution nor created by any act of parliament or any act of state legislature, but are created by executive resolution. Clear? For example, Niti Aayog. Or Central Bureau of Investigation. These bodies are created by passing executive resolution. That's why they are known as extra constitutional bodies or non-statutory bodies or non-constitutional bodies. No. For example, Planning Commission. Planning Commission was also a extra constitutional, a non-statutory body. Clear? And now Planning Commission has been abandoned, and in the place of Planning Commission, Niti Aayog has been created on the 1st January 2015. 1st January 2015. They have asked the date also. So write down the date, 1st January 2015. Clear? So Planning Commission has been abolished and it has been replaced with the Niti Aayog on the 1st January 2015. So no special act is required to abolish any extra constitutional body. Clear? It can be simply done by the executive. Now we will see the constitutional bodies, and first we will cover Election Commission of India. Election Commission of India is a constitutional body. Why it is a constitutional body? Because the provisions regarding Election Commission is given in the Article 324. Write down this. Article 324 provided for an Election Commission. Clear? Now come to the composition. See, initially Initially means when it was created, it was a single member body. Only Chief Election Commissioner. When Election Commission of India was first created, it was a single member body. There was only Chief Election Commissioner. Clear? It was a single member body. But in 90s, this body has been made a multi-member body. Multi-member body. How? A multi-member body means one chief election commissioner plus two election commissioner. Write down this. Now, election commission is a multi-member body. There is one chief election commissioner and two election commissioner. Clear? And who is the appointing authority of these bodies? Yes. Election commissioner and chief election commissioner. Both are appointed by president. Appointed by president. Clear? And one more thing, it is an all India body. It is an all India body. What do you mean by all India body? All India body means it is common to both center and state. It is common to both center and state. Common to both center and state. See how. Election Commission of India is responsible for election of the election of president. Clear? Vice president. Member of parliament. ठीक है, both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Member of Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council. So Election Commission is responsible for the conduct of election for the President, Vice President, Member of Parliament for both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, Member of Legislative Assembly and Member of Legislative Council. Means it is common to both center and state, na? That's why it is called as an all India body. Yes, President election is also conducted by Election Commission of India. Clear? Now we will first read about the Chief Election Commissioner. Then we will move to Election Commissioner. Clear? So Chief Election Commissioner is appointed by the President. Chief Election Commissioner is appointed by the President. Clear? Now come to the service condition of Chief Election Commissioner. Service plus terms. Service condition and term of Chief Election Commissioner. So first service condition is Chief Election Commissioner will remain in the office for 6 years or till he attain the age of 65. 6 years or till he attain the age of 65. Clear? Means his tenure will be 6 years. Either he will be a Chief Election Commissioner for 6 years or the 65 Means if an election commissioner is appointed at the age of 62, then he will remain in the office only for 3 years, because he will have to retire at the age of 65. So it is 6 year or 65, whichever is earlier. Clear? And once he is retired or completed his tenure, he is not eligible for reappointment. Not eligible for reappointment. He is not eligible for reappointment. Chief Election Commissioner cannot be reappointed. Clear? Also, it is universal for any constitutional body. Not eligible to hold any office of profit. Not eligible to hold any office of profit. Clear? Chief Election Commissioner is not eligible to hold any office of profit. And salary of Chief Election Commissioner is charged upon Consolidated Fund of India. Charged upon Consolidated Fund of India. What do you mean by that? Means Parliament can only discuss about it, but it is not votable. If any expenditure is charged upon Consolidated Fund of India, that means Parliament can only discuss but cannot vote. So this is to ensure the autonomy of Chief Election Commissioner, so that Chief Election Commissioner can perform independently without any kind of pressure from the government or the executive. Clear? Again, another point for their salaries, this cannot be reduced except in case of financial emergency. Cannot be reduced except in case of financial emergency. Means salary of Chief Election Commissioner cannot be reduced except in case of financial emergency. Means if there is financial emergency in the country imposed by the president, then president may deduct or reduce the salary of the Chief Election Commissioner. There is no other case in which salary of Chief Election Commissioner can be reduced. Clear? And his salary is equal to the judges of Supreme Court. Salary is equal to the judges of Supreme Court. Clear? Is that clear? Now come to the second point, that is election commissioner. How many election commissioner are there? Two. Two election commissioner. They are appointed by president. Clear? And while appointing election commissioner, president need not to consult chief election commissioner. Write down this. While appointing election commissioner, president need not to consult chief election commissioner. But they can be removed. They can be removed only on the recommendation of chief election commissioner. They can be removed only on the recommendation of chief election commissioner. Clear? Means while appointing, president need not take any recommendation or consultation with the chief election commissioner. But if president want to remove chief election commissioner, then he can do so only on the recommendation of the chief election commissioner. Clear? Means whenever chief election commissioner will recommend the removal of any election commissioner, president can remove that election commissioner. Is that clear? Now come to the service condition of election commission. Service condition and terms. So they are also having tenure of 6 years or 65 year of age, whichever is earlier. Clear? And write down, that is very important. An election commissioner is eligible to be appointed as chief election commissioner. An election commissioner is eligible to be appointed as chief election commissioner. Chief election commissioner. But the condition is that his tenure of election commissioner and chief election commissioner should not exceed more than 6 years. Clear? Means any election commissioner can be appointed as chief election commissioner, but his combined tenure should not exceed the tenure of 6 years. Clear? Write down this. Have you written? Na? His combined tenure should not exceed more than 6 years. Now understand this point. See, suppose A is appointed as election commissioner and he remain election commissioner for 2 years. Now he is appointed as chief election commissioner and he is not 65 now. Suppose he is 60. So what would be the tenure of chief A as chief election commissioner? His combined tenure should not exceed 6 years. Clear? And he has already served 2 years as election commissioner. Now he is appointed as chief election commissioner. So what would be his remaining tenure? 4 years. Because combined cannot exceed 6 years. So he will only be chief election commissioner for 4 years. Is that clear? And the same condition is he is not eligible to hold any office after his retirement. He is not eligible to hold any office after his retirement. Clear? That is also for the chief election commissioner. And his salary is also equal to the judges of Supreme Court. His salary is also equal to the judges of Supreme Court. Clear? Now come to the removal of chief election commissioner. Removal of chief election commissioner. See, chief election commissioner can be removed from his office by the parliament by passing a resolution with two-third majority in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Chief election commissioner can be removed by the parliament by passing a resolution with two-third majority in the Lok Sabha and in the Rajya Sabha, and he can be removed only on two grounds. He can be removed only on two grounds, that is proved misbehavior or incapacity. Proved misbehavior or incapacity. Clear? And what about election commissioner? How can they be removed? Hmm? Hmm? On the recommendation of chief election commissioner, president will remove the election commissioner. Clear? Now we will see what are the provisions. What are the provisions that ensure autonomy of Election Commission of India? Autonomy of Election Commission of India. So that Election Commission of India can perform its function independently. Clear? So first one is they are provided with the security of tenure. Security of tenure, isn't it? They are provided with the security of tenure because their removal is not easy, na? Chief Election Commissioner can be removed on the similar ground of judges of Supreme Court. Similar manner of judges of Supreme Court. Clear? Like Supreme Court judges, they can be removed, na, with the two-third majority on the ground of proved misbehavior or incapacity. And who will investigate that? Parliament will investigate that. So, in the same manner, Chief Election Commissioner can also be removed in the same manner. So that's why it is said that he enjoy the security of tenure because it is not easy to remove the Chief Election Commissioner from his office. Clear? Second is his service condition cannot be varied. His service conditions cannot be varied. Clear? And fourth one is salary is charged upon Consolidated Fund of India. Salary is charged upon Consolidated Fund of India. And also, salary cannot be reduced except in case of financial emergency. Salary is charged upon Consolidated Fund of India and salary cannot be reduced except in case of financial emergency. Clear? So these are the provisions which ensure the autonomy of Election Commission of India. Clear? Now come to the limitations of Election Commission of India. Limitations of Election Commission of India. Yeah, flaws of Election Commission of India. See, first limitation or first flaw is no qualification has been mentioned in the Constitution. No qualification has been mentioned in the Constitution. Clear? Also, their term is determined by the President. Their term is 6 or 65 years, na? Whichever is earlier. It is determined by the President. So, President can change it whenever he want. So, second flaw is their term has not been prescribed in the Constitution. Their term has not been prescribed in the Constitution. Clear? And see, election commission can be appointed as chief election commissioner by the government. So it might be possible they may work to favor a particular government, isn't it? In the greed of getting the post of chief election commissioner. So that is also a flaw of election commission. The election commissioner are appointed as chief election commissioner. Clear? And one more thing that is very important is they do not have the power to deregister a political party. That is very important flaw. They do not have the power to deregister a political party. Deregister a political party. Clear? And if we talk in the terms of recent years, so there is allegation of credibility of Election Commission of India, especially in case of EVM, electronic voting machine. In case of EVM, electronic voting machine, it is alleged by the opposition parties that EVM is tempered and election commission is not working. So it is just an allegation. It is not proven. So election commission should come out with a clear stand on these issues to ensure the justness and fairness in the election process. Because just, free and fair election is essential for a dynamic and vibrant democracy. Clear? So these are the flaws of the election commission. Now come to the functions of election commission. Functions of election commission of India. So these functions can be classified broadly into three categories. First one is the administrative functions, second one is the advisory function, and third one is the quasi judicial functions. See, first we will see the administrative function. Clear? So what is the administrative function? Write down: to conduct free, fair and peaceful election. To conduct free, fair and peaceful election. Clear? And second one is delimitation of the constituencies. Delimitation of the constituencies. What is delimitation? What is the meaning of delimitation of constituencies? Delimitation of constituency means redrawing the boundary of each and every constituency. Redrawing the boundary of each and every constituency. That is delimitation. To accommodate and adjust the population. Clear? And to ensure that population is properly represented in each and every constituency. Clear? That's why few constituency are covering larger areas because their population is very less, whereas few constituencies are covering smaller areas because their population is very high. So delimitation commission ensure the proportional representation of population in each and every constituency, and that is done by the election commission of India. Okay. Next, to register voters. Register voters. That is also function of the election commission. To register voter and prepare electoral roll. Register voter and prepare electoral roll. Electoral roll means the name of voter in a paper which authorize that voter to cast their vote. So that is electoral roll. Clear? Also notify the date of election. Notify the date of election. That is the power of Supreme Court. Sorry, Election Commission. Clear? And also they have some quasi judicial functions. Quasi judicial function means semi judicial function. So they are working for the setting of dispute between political parties, resolution of dispute between political parties. Clear? Election Commission also appoint officers to settle the dispute. First, Election Commission is settling the dispute between the political parties, and also they are also appointing the officers to settle the dispute related to the election management. Settle the dispute related to the electoral management. Now come to the advisory function. See, Supreme Court advise President, advise President, advise President on matters related to the disqualification of member of parliament. Disqualification of members of the parliament. Disqualification of member of parliament. Clear? On this matter, Election Commission of India is giving advice to the President. Clear? So that is the advisory function of the Election Commission. I have told that there are two ground of qualification. No? One is under Article 102 and other is under 10th schedule or on the basis of anti-defection. So in case of anti-defection, it is the presiding officer of the house that decide the disqualification of the members. But under Article 102, if any member is about to disqualified by the president, then who will advise? Election Commission will advise to president to disqualify that member. And same Election Commission is giving advice to the governor. On which matter? For the disqualification of member of State Legislative Assembly. On the matters related to disqualification of member of State Legislature. Clear? Also, he advised the President, Election Commission of India advised the President whether election can be held in a particular state or not. Election can be held in a particular state or not. So these are the advisory function of the Election Commission of India. Clear? Any doubt? So tomorrow we will be covering Union Public Service Commission. Clear? And you have to self-study about the State Public Service Commission. I will teach only important points which is confusing. And then we will also be covering Joint Public Service Commission. Clear? And let me clear one thing here. See, Union Public Service Commission and State Public Service Commission. These are constitutional bodies. Union Public Service Commission and State Public Service Commission. But Joint Public Service Commission created by an act of parliament. Created by an act of parliament. Clear? So, is it a constitutional body? It is a statutory body. It is a statutory body. So, Joint Public Service Commission is created on the request of two or more than two states. Okay? But it is created by an act of parliament. So, it is a statutory body. Is that clear? Whereas Union Public Service Commission and State Public Service Commission, these two are the constitutional bodies. Clear? If you have any doubt, then you can ask. We will continue this UPSC, State PSC and Joint PSC in tomorrow's lecture.